My name is Sophie. I am 20 years old, and I want to tell you about the man who tracked my IP address through a website, found my apartment building, and waited for me to walk home alone. I survived it, but only because of someone I had completely misjudged. Stay with me, because this one does not go the way you expect. If you watch true scary stories, hit subscribe before we get into this. And drop a comment telling me where you are watching from tonight, because I have two stories for you, and both of them involve people hiding in plain sight. Let me start with mine. I was a junior in college studying biotechnology. If you do not know what that is, the short version is that it is a field that requires an enormous amount of time, money, and mental energy simultaneously. The university I attended was in an expensive urban area. My parents helped with tuition. That was it. Everything else was on me. Food, rent, utilities, bus passes, textbooks, all of it came out of my own pocket. I worked as a barista at a coffee shop near campus. Long hours, early mornings, minimum wage. I was pulling double shifts some weeks while trying to keep up with coursework that most people treat like a full-time job on its own. I was sleeping 4 or 5 hours a night on a good week. I was surviving, not living. I needed a solution. Something I could do from my dorm room on my own schedule that paid more than coffee tips. My roommate had just moved out to live with her boyfriend. I had the room to myself. No one watching, no one around, complete privacy. A friend of mine who was in a similar financial situation had quietly started an OnlyFans account a few months earlier. She said it was easier than it sounded, paid significantly better than any campus job, and that she had never shown her face in a single photo. I thought about it for about a week. Then I signed up. I want to be straightforward about this because the story does not work if I am not honest. I was not ashamed of the decision. I was a college student in a tight financial situation, making a choice that a lot of people in my position make. I bought a decent ring light, set up my phone on a stand, and kept my face out of every single photo. Within a few days, I had enough subscribers to cover a week of groceries. Within 2 weeks, I had taken time off from the coffee shop. For about a month, everything was fine. Then I got a DM request from a user named John_Doe. The request included a payment offer, $100 for a photo of me smiling. Just smiling. No content, no posing, nothing explicit. Just a selfie with my face visible. I thought he had typed an extra zero. I messaged him to confirm the amount. He confirmed it. He said he wanted to see my smile. I took the photo and sent it, and he paid immediately. We kept exchanging messages over the next couple of hours. He asked for a full-body video from the neck down, paid $50 for it. Asked for a photo of my hands, paid for that too. The payments were generous and the requests were strange but not immediately alarming. Plenty of people had specific things they paid for on the platform. That was the whole model. Then the question started. How old are you? Are you single? Do you live alone or with family? How many people have you been with? Are you in a relationship right now? I answered the non-personal ones vaguely and started redirecting. The questions kept coming. They got more specific, more personal, more focused on my living situation and my physical location, rather than anything related to the platform. Then he asked whether I had any STDs. I closed the chat. I blocked the account. I reported to the platform and went to bed. I told myself he was just another weird user, and I had handled it correctly. Block, report, move on. The platform had safeguards. I was anonymous. I had never shown enough of my surroundings in any photo for anyone to identify where I was filming. I believed all of that. The next afternoon, I got home from class, opened my laptop, and saw a string of unread messages from John_Doe. Multiple messages sent in sequence over the previous 18 hours. The early ones offered large sums of money just to talk. Then they escalated, fast. Within a few messages, he was threatening to find me, saying he would track me down, saying things about what he would do when he found me. The language was specific and detailed in the way that separates someone performing anger from someone who has already been planning. I reported and blocked the account again and tried to shake it off. A few days later, I was on my balcony getting some air in the early afternoon. The building across from mine had its own balconies. I noticed an older man standing on one of them. He was looking in my direction. When I waved, he did not wave back. He just kept looking. Then he raised a pair of binoculars. He scanned my building slowly, floor by floor, methodically, like someone looking for something specific. I went inside immediately. I reported it to my building security staff. They spoke to the man and came back saying they did not find evidence of anything wrong. The police said the same thing when my building called them. There was nothing actionable about a man standing on his own balcony with binoculars. I told myself I was reading too much into it. I told myself the timing was a coincidence. A week later, I walked to a grocery store a few blocks away. It was early evening. The area was well lit and reasonably populated. I made the trip regularly without issue. On the way back, I felt the specific, unmistakable feeling of being watched. Not paranoia. The actual physical sensation of eyes on the back of your head that most people have experienced at some point. I looked around and saw the old man from the balcony across the street. He was watching me, not pretending to do something else, just standing on the sidewalk looking directly at me as I walked with my groceries. I picked up my pace. His pace increased too. I want to be precise about what I mean. I was not running. I was walking fast, and so was he, maintaining the same distance behind me. I turned a corner and ducked behind a bus stop shelter and pressed against the wall and waited. My heart was going so fast I could feel it in my ears. While I was standing there pressed behind the bus shelter in the dark, a young man walking past noticed me. He asked if I was okay. He looked about my age, maybe a year or two older. Casual clothes, friendly face. He seemed concerned. I told him there was a man following me, that I needed to get back to my building, but I was afraid the man would see me leave the shelter. He said he would walk with me if that would help. I said yes. I said thank you. I was afraid, and I said yes to a stranger offering to walk me home. We talked as we walked. He told me a little about himself. Not much. His name was Jay. He seemed calm and normal and exactly like a person who had noticed a scared girl hiding behind a bus stop and stopped to help. We got within half a block of my building. There was a van parked in the driveway that I had never seen there before. Dark-colored, older model. I noticed it and then looked away because I was focused on getting inside. Then I heard a voice behind me. Wait, wait. It was the old man. He was jogging toward us, waving, trying to get my attention. Before I could turn around to look at him, Jay's hand closed around my arm. Hard. He spun me toward the van and shoved me into the back of it. The door slammed. The van was already moving before I could react. The back of the van had no windows. The side panels were lined with wood. There was no way to access the front seat. I screamed and I kept screaming, and I pounded on the walls, and I could not make any difference in what was happening. The van stopped. Jay yanked open the back door. His face was completely different from the person who had offered to walk me home. Something behind his eyes had changed, or maybe it had always been there, and I had not been looking for it. He put tape over my mouth and a blindfold over my eyes and dragged me into a building. I felt stairs going down, a basement. He left me there alone in the dark. I want to tell you what those minutes felt like, but I am not sure I have the words for it. I could not see, could not call out, had no sense of where I was or how long I had been there. Every awful thing I had ever known about situations like this ran through my head in sequence. I thought about my parents. I thought about my studies. I thought about how ordinary the evening had started. Then I heard sirens, far at first, then closer, then directly outside wherever I was, shouting from above, pounding on a door, a male voice announcing a police search warrant and ordering someone to come out with their hands up. Commotion. Running footsteps on the floor above me. More shouting. Then the basement door opened and light came in and an officer came down the stairs. They took me to the station and took my statement. I showed them the screenshots of John_Doe's messages, the threats, the specific language about tracking me down. The officer explained what had actually happened. Jay was John_Doe. He had used a technical method to trace the general origin of my account's activity back to my building's neighborhood. He had physically come to the area and used the van to observe my building and learn my routines. The CCTV footage from the area around my building showed the van parked outside on multiple occasions over the preceding week. And the old man with the binoculars, he had noticed the van, an unfamiliar vehicle parked outside a residential building for days at a time. He had been using the binoculars to try to get a plate number. When he saw Jay on the street following me that evening, he had recognized him as the man from the van. He had been trying to catch up to warn me. He had been following me to make sure I made it home safely, not to harm me, to protect me. The old man had gotten the van's plate number and called the police the moment he saw Jay put me in it. The police ran the plate, pulled traffic camera footage, traced the route, and found the building within the hour. I went home to my dorm that night and sat at my desk for a long time without doing anything. I deleted my account the following morning. I went back to work at the coffee shop. I started saying hello to the old man across the way whenever I saw him on his balcony. He moved to a senior care facility the following spring. We stayed in light contact for a while. We never once talked about Jay or what happened. Some things are better understood in silence. The second story is not mine. My name is Marcus. I am 26 years old, and what I am about to tell you still does not feel entirely real, even though I was the one it happened to. It was November of the second year of the pandemic. I had been home for almost a year. My county was in its second full lockdown. I was working remotely, taking care of my apartment, talking to my cat, and watching an unreasonable amount of television. I am going to be direct about something. I was bored and I was lonely, and I was not making the best decisions about how I spent my evenings. I came across a girl's social media pages while scrolling. Her name on the platform was Anna. She was very attractive and she had a fairly small following. Her bio linked to an OnlyFans page. I had never subscribed to that kind of thing before. I had no particular moral objection to it. I had just never found a compelling enough reason to pay for something I could find elsewhere for free. But I was in month 11 of a pandemic lockdown, and I had money sitting in my account and nothing to spend it on. I subscribed. The subscription was around $10. The photos on the front page were good. She posted regularly. I checked back a few times over the following week. I was a paying subscriber doing exactly what the platform existed for. Then I noticed the DM feature. I want to be clear about my intentions when I first messaged her. I was not trying to build a connection. I was a bored subscriber who figured he would try out the chat feature. I said hello. She sent back a photo of herself holding 2 fingers near her mouth in a gesture I initially read as playful. I tried small talk. Where are you from? How old are you? She deflected everything, 1 or 2 word answers. She was not unfriendly, but she was not present either. I understood. She had probably hundreds of men in her messages at any given time. There was no reason for her to engage personally. I made a couple of photo requests. She sent them. I paid. I was about to close the tab and call it a night when I decided to scroll back through the photos on her page one more time. I started noticing the hand gestures. I have a younger sister who has been deaf since birth. My entire family learned American Sign Language when she was a toddler. I grew up with it. I used it daily for years. I am not fluent, but I can hold a basic conversation and I can read common signs without difficulty. The first gesture I noticed was the one she had sent as her hello, 2 fingers sideways near the mouth. I had read it as a peace sign variant. In ASL, it is the letter H. I scrolled to another photo. She was holding what I had assumed was a playful paw gesture near her face. In ASL, that is the letter E, another photo, an L shape over her head. Then in a video, she ran 3 fingers slowly up her forearm. In ASL, the extended 3-finger configuration with the thumb up is the letter P, H-E-L-P. I sat completely still for a moment. I went back through every photo and video I had scrolled past. The gestures were spread out across different posts, different days, different outfits. Not consecutive, not obvious. Buried in photos that look like normal flirtatious content to anyone who did not know what they were reading. She had been sending this message to every subscriber who looked at her page, and I was apparently the first one who had understood it. I typed back to her immediately. I asked if she was okay. I asked if she needed help. I told her I had seen the signs. She responded with a video. She was facing slightly away from the camera hands near her waist, moving them in small controlled gestures, the way you learn to sign when you do not want to be seen signing. She asked, "Do you know sign?" I typed back, "Yes." I asked where she was. She signed, "Do not know." I asked if she knew the city. She signed, "No, do not know." I asked if she was safe. She did not answer that one. She just looked into the camera for a second, and then the video cut off. I called the police. I explained the entire situation. I explained that a girl on OnlyFans appeared to be using American Sign Language to signal for help in her photos. I explained that she had confirmed she understood me when I contacted her and that she did not know where she was. I sent the platform link and screenshots of our exchange. The police identified her from platform records. Her real name was Layla. She was a college student who had been reported as missing after abruptly stopping attending classes several months earlier. The university had assumed she had quietly dropped out. She had been abducted. The police used technical means to trace the platform's network activity to a residential address several hours from where I lived. Law enforcement in that jurisdiction executed a search and made arrests. She had been held in the basement of that house for months. She had been forced to create content under a false name. Every dollar she earned went to the man holding her. He would check on her periodically to make sure she was not asking for help through the platform. She had found a way to ask anyway, slowly, quietly. One hand gesture embedded in one photo at a time over the course of weeks. A message she sent to every subscriber who ever scrolled her page, knowing that almost none of them would understand it. Layla called me a few days after she was brought home. She said thank you. She said it several times. Her voice was steady. She sounded exhausted in the way that comes from something deeper than sleep deprivation. I told her I was glad she was safe. I told her I was glad she had found a way to reach out. She said the man who held her had told her repeatedly that if she ever tried to signal for help through the platform, he would know and she would not survive it. He watched over her from a corner of the basement during sessions to make sure she was not communicating anything real. She had done it anyway, over and over, to every stranger who subscribed. Not because she knew it would work, because it was the only option she had left. I deleted my account the day after I got off the phone with her, not out of guilt, just because I did not want to see that platform again. I still think about her regularly. I think about the patience it took to embed that message slowly enough that her captor never noticed. I think about how many people must have scrolled past those photos and seen only what they expected to see. I think about how close it came to no one ever reading it at all. 2 stories, 2 women, 2 different kinds of danger hiding in something that looked ordinary. Sophie trusted a stranger who offered to walk her home and found out too late that the real threat had never been the old man with binoculars. The person watching her had already been close for weeks before she ever felt it. Layla spent months learning to speak in a language that almost no one around her would understand. She sent her message into the dark over and over, trusting that eventually someone would be listening. Someone was. That is not always how it ends. If you are ever scrolling through content and something feels off, something feels too careful or too coded or too layered, pay attention to that feeling. Look closer. Read what is actually there instead of what you expect to see. And if you see hands moving in a pattern that looks familiar, look it up. Because somewhere tonight, someone is still trying to say something that most people will not hear. Make sure you are not one of the people who keeps scrolling,